My name is Veronica Osogo. I'm the founder of Zion Zone Tennis Foundation that uses tennis to reach out to underprivileged children in slums in Kenya. My main focus is to use tennis to keep the children busy, to also make them not be, I want them to be busy, because based on what I used to see in the slum, I wanted them to give them hope. I wanted to give them an opportunity and a platform to be seen and heard. Actually, what inspired me to go is a lady who had a program right in Gumo, where he was going into Kibera most of the time. So she kept on asking me about going to the slum and giving the children the opportunity. And of course, I was hesitant because I didn't understand much about the slum. And I've also heard a lot of stories about the slum. You know, if you go in, you'll come, you know, you'd be dead. You go alive, you come out dead. And I was just hesitant. But however, I took a bold step. Then I went into the slum in 2006. And of course, it was a rainy day. And when I entered, just what I saw. You know, I knew my mom's struggles, but we honestly never lived that kind of life, you know. It is, for me, I was just saying it is dirty, those shanty houses. I'm seeing children running into sewer water, and you know, life is going on. I'm just meeting people who are drunk, people who are hopeless. And I told myself, let me just enter and see what I can do with the children. So when I entered and I met these young children, it was a daycare. It was called Bamako. So I told myself, let me just see what I can do. And of course, my expectation was different. I thought I'll get a good environment, you know, just a place that you feel is safe and you feel is home. So because it was not what I expected, I actually was disappointed and I wanted to stop the mission. Then as the children coming to ask me about the rackets that I was carrying, okay, they didn't know it was tennis, they were calling golf. And I'm just like, I've brought something that I may be able to play with you and just see what happens. And let me just say, I stepped in, and to this day, I'm inside Kibera, reaching out to them through tennis. Those who benefit are children, 4 to 18 years. I actually start with them when they're very young, and then grow with them in the program. So they're the main beneficiaries. And of course, their parents, because when you get the child, you also need to reach out to the parents. And parents is more to make the children be available to the program. And of course, the community, because these children are from the same community. When you reach out to one child, you're definitely reaching out to the larger community. And so far, since this will be our 20th year in the slum, we have impacted at least over 15,000 children, both boys and girls. The one I think has been my biggest highlight when I was introducing tennis to the children. My biggest desire was to keep them busy. Then I discovered they're talented. So I started also scouting talent and exposing them to tennis tournaments or taking them to tennis clubs to play tennis. So you could see it was a different environment. My desire was for them to just change the environment. And in the process, they started playing tennis tournaments, and I started having top tennis players in the country, both in the junior event and in the senior event. So my biggest highlight was in 2025, when I managed to take one girl to the US. It has been my dream to make sure that a child in the slum can enter a plane, can go to the US and study. And Cynthia became that child, Cynthia Wanjala. I got a scholarship for her, junior college at Cowley. And for me, that has been my biggest success story, because most of the children in the community don't like to study. And the reason why we were missing out on scholarship is because they had very low grades. Now, Cynthia might not have been very good in school, but Cynthia was very committed when it came to training and also her character development. She was a child raised in the slum, but she came out of that kind of setup. And to be honest, this young lady, when I was taking her to the US in January, I just saw a different kid. The reason why this is just a beautiful story for me is this young child, I'll never forget, slept throughout. Immediately we entered, we boarded. Seatbelt, this young lady slept. So I was just like, what is going on? She's not eating. Then on transit, would come out and then we just relaxed 1 or 2 hours. Immediately tunaingia ndege, analala. So I'm just like, what is going on? So she slept throughout until we reached the US. I had to force her at one point to eat. And for me, she was just saying, this is relief. I felt like she was sleeping away the slump, just like, finally, I have hope. And this young lady has made me proud. And she became, in their college, when they're doing their competitions, the number 2 in the region in the doubles. So for me to just see a child who never existed in a sport that everybody knows is for the rich. There's this child from Kibera who's now flying our flag in the US. For me, this is the best thing that has happened in my 20 years running the organization. For me, the biggest challenge is finances. Tennis is not for the poor. It's extremely expensive. And for me to have these children taking part, training in at the clubs, and also taking part in tournaments is money. I have many children playing well, and this has been my biggest hindrance. But what I do is I make sure that I train them so well, so that I get the well-to-do who come and see that I don't understand why this child is playing without shoes, and maybe the racket is not that good and they're winning. So the resources that I get from teaching the well-to-do, I put it back. So I don't just sit and wait for sponsors. I think my 20 years I have been mostly surviving on coaching the well-to-do children and putting the money back into the program to run the program. So I didn't just sit back and say it's expensive and it's impossible to do it. I've been running with whatever resources that I have. My biggest desire, let me put it as a desire, is to build tennis courts. We do not have any public tennis courts in the country. I have seen the challenges of the children just because they're needy, how they struggle to access facility at the clubs, how they're isolated, how it doesn't matter how much money I pay the club. My club, I believe on the tennis part, I pay the highest amount of money for the court fee, yet the treatment is poor, is different. So my desire, that is the only thing I'll ever want for a very long time. I mean, what I've desired for a very long time, tennis courts. Let me build them in one of the local schools that I may be able to have all these children, many children accessing the facility without biasness, without struggling, without feeling left out. And also it is easier for me to nurture them at a place I'm in control. And also because we are mentoring them, we want them to also learn. Some of them, their reading skill or education part is really low. This is the time we can use our center as a catchment area for these children. So just know, all I want is to build tennis court for these children. What I've done mostly is I'm seeing, of course, there have been a lot of imbalance when it comes to the girl child and the boy child. And I'm seeing right now, currently, there are too many challenges as we go by for the girl child. You're seeing the societies, things are just I feel they're becoming more empowered to the point they're being more vulnerable when it comes to the girl child. So what I've done actually as an organization, I'm recruiting children 4 to 8 years, more of the young ones, the girls, that I'm able to work with them in a system which is different from the system they know. 4 to 8 years, they are you can control them, you can tell them what to do easily. So that is an age group that I am bringing up, that I'm able to raise better girls, more disciplined girls, because once in the slum, once they're about 10, it's like they're too much in the issues that are in the community. So when you pick them when they're young, they learn something different and have a different approach to life. And then I also have been having a desire, and I've already done it, to also reach out to the deaf. I've actually done it, even learned some sign language that I can reach out to them. Because I'm just feeling, yes, we have the hearing, but what can we do for this other they just don't hear, but you can learn their language to be able to reach out to them, that you can have many more of them not just feeling useless, hopeless, helpless because they are deaf. So for me, I've had also an element of inclusivity. It's not been very easy because it's not easy to deal with that their category, because there are different things they understand. So just to open it up also for the deaf community.